What's up, guys? So we're back with another stadium review. Today we are in the beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. We are at Camden Yards, so pretty historic stadium. More recent stadium, actually. Coors Field is modeled after Camden Yards, I'm told, so this will be a pretty fun one. We're kind of going to get to go through some of the cool features, some of the things that we go through in every one, but here we go.
So as always, we're going to start out with the clubhouse. This was actually a solid clubhouse. Once again, nice wood lockers. There ended up being a good amount of room in this clubhouse as well, some nice couches. So overall, I mean, maybe it was a little outdated if I was going to get nitpicky, but I liked everything that the clubhouse had going on. I liked the lights. Everything seemed to be pretty solid. Nothing out of the ordinary, but we'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Next up is going to be the weight room. This weight room may not be the prettiest, but it was actually a very, very functional weight room. It had a lot of the equipment you needed. It had the dumbbells, it had the squat racks, it even had a nice turf area. They actually get some bonus points for the Alico weights. Really solid Olympic weights, and they did have a safety bar unlike the last one, so that's going to get bonus points, and that's going to give them a 7.5 out of 10. So now on to probably the most important part, which would be the field or the stadium as a whole. So like I mentioned earlier, Coors Field was actually modeled after Camden Yards. And this was my first time coming to Camden Yards, so it was actually a cool experience to be able to get to see this, get to walk around, get to check out all the different features. But as you can see, it's a beautiful backdrop. Having the warehouse back there and the history with that is amazing. Nice dugouts, cool stands. I think the open concept with center field being so open with the views was actually really cool. Touch, they still have a ton of stands, which helps you get a lot of people in there, get a ton of fans in there, and get the place loud and rocking. But overall, I really loved this stadium. This is probably one of my favorites I've been to so far, and definitely going to enjoy coming back here again. But overall, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Now on to my most important piece of every stadium. We're going to start talking about the bullpen. Unlike Tampa, this bullpen was not on the field, which was a great touch. Pretty good mound setup, great view obviously, which is usually an added bonus. You're not too up front and center for the fans, so you're not getting heckled too much. But my biggest complaint about this one, and this was mainly on the day game, is the lack of shade. So when you're sitting out there all day and having to get ready to go into the game, you want a little bit of shade to keep you cool, so that way you're ready to rock and roll when it's time to go. But overall, pretty solid bullpen. We'll give it a standard 7 out of 10 on the scale. So now we're on to our intangibles, or our extra features. So Camden Yards actually had some pretty cool ones. This warehouse and this walkway was super cool, and I got to check it out before the game. But one of the coolest things about it is all the home run markers. So here's one from Blackman actually a few years back. They have them all over. And then here's one from Ken Griffey Jr. during the home run derby, which is awesome. It was an absolute shot, as you'll see when I turn around and show how far it is from the field. But overall, this was a really cool setup. They then have the statues that you get to walk by, all their historic players. So between these two things, this was an awesome touch, and I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10 on the scale. So going back through all the different features, the clubhouse was a pretty solid clubhouse, had a lot of room. The food was actually really good on the trip, so that ended up giving them a pretty solid score for that one. And then after that, the weight room was decent. The equipment was actually pretty solid, which is always a plus. They had a safety bar, which gets some extra points. So solid weight room as well, nothing too special. The field itself was awesome. I will be the first one to say I really enjoyed Camden Yards. I thought it was a cool field. I thought the backdrop was amazing. I thought the history behind it, which was awesome, which leads us into our next point. The features and intangibles were also really solid. I think I liked the history aspect of it. I really like when people chart the home runs and whatnot. The bullpen was solid. Only complaint was the lack of shade, which is what it is. We're men, so we can tough it out. But overall, great stadium. I think on the scale, this is our highest yet so far, which isn't much competition, but they're going to get an 8.1 out of 10 on our scale. So for those of you guys that stuck around this long, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to continue to try and keep doing stadiums as I travel this year. This is one of my favorites so far, and there's a lot of others in the future that I'm going to be excited for. So stay tuned for those. But thank you guys again for watching. Keep following along, and I'll keep trying to keep you guys updated. But for those of you that are still here, please like and subscribe, and we'll keep pushing out content, and we'll see you in the next one.